Welcome back, man. Welcome back. Welcome back. Well, the twist is, uh, I got the alfalfa. It's kind of like the Negro alfalfa. I got the Negro alfalfa going on here. No, it's just that one twist just won't stay down. You can't hold a brother down, man. Can't hold a brother down. Let me actually go on YouTube to see how this sounds because I ain't gonna lie, I've been pissed the last couple times I've been on live and hearing the audio itself. I haven't been the best fan, the biggest fan. Haven't been the biggest fan at all, but it sounds good, looks good, we feel good. Hello, all, and welcome to the Heel Turn Podcast. I'm your host Isaiah Jackson Jr. Back at it again with another one, of course. Um, let's get a schedule going. Let's get a schedule going because right now Tuesdays I get off at 9 o'clock, and now I am free. Throughout the week, so I'm thinking about making a schedule for myself to stream. Come here in the studio. This is the studio now. I gotta come in, just uh, open up the mic, buzz it open one time for the one time, and do a little bit of talking. Get some wrestling grief. Get some wrestling opinions out because I've been heated, man. There's been a whole lot that's been going on, and I just haven't been the biggest fan of, honestly. And of course, I mean, well, Bleacher Report did something actually really cool. Let's just jump right into that for like 2 seconds if we could. But before we do that, huge shout out to Justin. What's good, my guy? What's good, brother? How's you living? Oh man, I'm assuming Circle of Debate just got off stream. But look, it is never too late to go back and watch a Circle of Debate stream. And if you missed the stream, damn it, you're gonna see them again tomorrow. It's like you are going to see them tomorrow. So a huge shout out to Justin, huge shout out to Circle of Debate. Of course, they put a crazy amount of work. The time that they put in is just absolutely unreal. And of course, the content is just thorough. The thorough. You will not find a group of just down to earth, genuine people like there is on Circle of Debate. Give them guys subscribe to Justin as well because he is absolutely everywhere. If you listen to wrestling podcasts, I'm pretty sure Justin's gonna be there soon. I gotta tell y'all something. It was actually pretty cool, and I don't think I'm not gonna say anything too crazy, but I was trying to get some interviews in. I was emailing all around, texting people, trying to see if we could get another heel turn interview. We just haven't done one in a while. And one person we reached out to was Mark Henry. We see Mark Henry do a recent interview that actually was really great. I'm spacing on the name of the podcast, but because we follow them as well. My phone's on 1% and it's gonna die on me. But Mark Henry, I seen Mark Henry do a podcast just recently, and I was like, "Oh man, let me get in on that." I want to talk to Mark Henry. I want to get the scoop on Mark Henry's life. And out of everybody, I think I emailed like 20 people, and I'm talking these aren't 20 ex WWE X this that and the other. I'm literally just emailing wrestlers in the indies, wrestlers that are literally nearby here, wrestling promotions. And Mark Henry was just throwing in the mix, but Mark Henry hit me back. Mark Henry hit me back and said, "Hey, this is the price. Let me know what you think. I'm here to let y'all know right now. There is absolutely no way in God's green earth is Mark Henry coming on the heel turn. No, like that. Mark Henry in the heel turn is not happening. I'm sorry. I tried my best. I tried my best. But yeah, I'm sorry. That's too rich for my blood. And it's not like how can I put this? If it was, I still wouldn't do it. It just ain't happening. You know what I'm saying? It just ain't happening. It just ain't happening. I ain't even gonna lie and be like, well, maybe if here, that, and the other, if I could do this and pull some strings, no strings being pulled. Not with this one. Mark Henry will not be showing up on the Heel Turn podcast. I'm sorry. The bread ain't there. Huge shout out to Justin. Just finished NXT. Excellent episode. And look, he ain't even talking about NXT. He talking about the Circle of Debate live stream, the watch party itself. Just excellent all around. And huge shout out to Justin, the Humble Roses podcast. Shout out to them. Matter of fact, here, just so we can, because I don't want to, let's see. Because we follow each other, of course. The as we talked about before, like it's just what's the word? The not necessarily the collaboration, but the love, in the wrestling community is just absolutely beautiful. The Humble Roses podcast. Here you see them right there, a podcast dedicated to the unsung heroes of pro wrestling pop culture and in the entertainment industry as well. So just going on, it looks like they tackled everything. And looking at them retweeting, of course, LeBron, just the NBA stuff as well, and just going on to their state, going on to this. Matter of fact, I mean, I don't think they'll, I don't think I'll get in trouble for playing any of this stuff. Let's go to that one of their Mark Henry clips. Let me see if they did. I do remember seeing one, but it could be somewhere else. But here, I believe this was announced. Brock said, "Oh no, that was them, bro, reacting to Brock." Let me see. Do they have it? Do they have it? Because if not, we could just move on. But long story short, they were the ones that. And here it goes. Here it goes. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. That's not it. That's not it. Okay, but yeah, they interviewed Mark Henry. They were the ones that interviewed Mark Henry. Huge shout out to them as well. And also give them a subscribe as well, because they are just rocking and rolling on not only on the social media side, but of course on a YouTube side as well. Like they're putting in the work, and they can afford Mark Henry. You know, it's like if they can afford Mark Henry, your boy. I'm sorry. Look, I'm sorry. Maybe if I was, maybe if circumstances were just like a little bit different, it's like if I just didn't get the crib, it's like if I just didn't get the crib, then I probably would have put the money down for Mark Henry. Mark Henry, I'm sorry, I got bills to pay, brother. I would love to talk to you, but I got to get bigger. Let me get bigger. Let me put the work in, and then I'll give you a phone call again. But outside of that, no interviews, no interviews happening, but still we get to have a whole lot of fun and we get to chop it up. Still working out a schedule. I just seen somebody post an amazing, they had an amazing layout of how they're gonna post their weekly schedule. And I think if I can do that at least once a week, it's like if I could just do that, just come in here, post when I'm going to be live, and keep going back to and sticking to it as well. I feel like once the schedule is there, and you stick to it, you're locked in. You're 100% locked in, and that's been one of my biggest problems. Is like not having a complete set schedule, and then when there's like a small little bump in the schedule, I'm like, well, fuck. It's just like I just got to cancel the whole thing, and now I got to do this, that, and the other, type deal. So, that's gonna change, obviously. And like I said, we, I just got to cancel the whole thing, and now I got to do this, that, and the other. We got to get a schedule going. We just but I just had to go back and listen. I'm still listening to my stuff because, like I said, I be hot. I be tight when I come back and listen to this, and the audio just ain't what it is or what it needs to be. That be getting me tight. I ain't gonna lie. That's it's my pet peeve because it's my fault. It's like it ain't nobody else's fault but mine. So, just gotta retweet it out on Twitter. Gotta retweet it out on Facebook. We are live and we're feeling good. Well, we gotta jump right into it. Let's jump right into it because I won't be on here too long. I got an early start to work tomorrow, but man, I wanted to crack the mic so badly here. I wanted to crack the mic so badly, and I had to rush here. Had to rush to the studio, and like I said, I'll probably be here a little while after as well. Working out a schedule, working on some graphics, seeing if we can update the look here on the heel turn. But going into the winners and losers of Clash in Italy, I really wanted to touch on this. The Bleacher Report. Surprisingly, they didn't have it for AEW, and I'm gonna go on to double check as well because AEW, of course, had an amazing pay-per-view as well. Just absolutely blew WWE out of the water. If we're just gonna be honest here, WWE's pay-per-views have become, if they aren't predictable, if it's not predictable, it's gonna piss you off. It's just like I feel like that's, and I can explain that in a better way. It's more so like, WWE tries to not be as predictable as they try to keep that mystique towards them, but at the end of the day, like it just pisses you off even more. It just pisses you off even more with their actions, with their how they handle certain storylines, and it's all TKO. TKO is the biggest problem in it all. And so, okay, they did do Double or Nothing. So we can do Double or Nothing after we get to Clash in Italy. Because they have the winners and losers of Clash in Italy and just going through the match card. One of the losers they have is Gunther. And I believe that wholeheartedly. Like, even though they didn't make it like a clean finish on Gunther, it still feels bogus that, I feel like this is still Gunther's time. For one, am sick of Cody Rhodes. Like, Cody Rhodes has lost his luster. You know, especially when we see him lose, you know, more often than not. You know, we've seen him lose to John Cena. We've seen him drop the title and him get the title right back. You know, he should have lost to Randy Orton. You know, I feel like Cody Rhodes' time has already came and went. You know, he already finished the story and already had a year-long title run already. You know, we don't need to see any more Cody Rhodes at this point in time. You know, if Randy wasn't going to do it, at least let Gunther run the reins of pretty much hold the title, especially of him being the career killer that he is now. Like, you know, let's stand on that. You know, let's stand on that, and more often than not. You know, let's give that to Gunther. And so him being the loser here, I don't think it absolutely just hurt Gunther. I don't think this match like just completely buried him or anything like that. You know, I wouldn't go necessarily that far. I think that's, you know, an exaggeration, but I think it still puts a damper in the run that Gunther was having. You guys hear that? Hold on. I hear like a dog barking. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna actually check out what's going on here. Oh, that's outside. Okay, cool. I was like, I'm hearing. I'm like, because I got a dog downstairs. I'm like, y'all hear that? I was like, this dog howling. But outside of all that, okay, yeah, this is my dog. All right, let me go see what's going on here, because I do not want to get caught up in no mess. So let me see. 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. I'll be right back. Give me 1 minute. We good. We good. I was like, man, I'm like, this dog is absolutely going crazy. And before I, you know, just keep continuing to talk, and then, you know, somebody's busting in, you know, like, let me check to see what's going on. Let me, you know, worry about my safety for a second, you know, like, but yeah, Gunther, I definitely think he deserved a little bit more. I think this is Gunther's time. And, you know, like I said, Cody Rhodes, we already seen we seen the best of Cody Rhodes. Like we've seen the absolute best of Cody Rhodes. Like the 2-3 years that we had Cody Rhodes entering the WWE, and, you know, having the run that he had, even through injury, absolutely impressive. Your time is over with. You know, it's like we're done here. We're sick of it. And maybe I'm just speaking, you know, from my perspective, but man, like I'm getting Cody Rhodes fatigue. Anybody else? Anybody else? I got Cody Rhodes fatigue heavy. I'm getting sick of this man. Like it's just getting annoying to the point to where, you know, it was Randy Orton's time. He didn't get it. It's Cody Rhodes. It was Gunther's time at this point in time. Right now, and he didn't get it. Who is going to get the win over Cody Rhodes and take this belt away from him? And that's what I'm hoping for. Huge shout out to Devin the Tribal Chief. Yo, what's good? What's good, my brother? Huge shout out to Devin the Tribal Chief. Nah, Cody can pack it up. That's a fact, man. We got to get Cody Rhodes out of here. Cody Rhodes fatigue it's in full effect. Like it was already there. You know, Cody Rhodes fatigue was already set. But damn it, man, it's in full effect right now. Like Cody, like we got to get this up. Randy should have beat you. Gunther should have beat you. And now we're still on this. We have this wheel. You know, we have this wheel of superstars. And TKO is literally just throwing the darts at them, just picking and choosing. And at this point in time, and I'm just irritated. I'm irritated with a lot, and we're still gonna get into a whole lot more. But they said one of the winners here in Clash in Italy was Charlotte Flair. Of course, Rhea Ripley, the one being to defeat Jade Cargill, ending the rivalry. It still was a cathartic victory for Charlotte Flair, of course, coming through and interfering, coming to the aid of the Jade Cargill as well. You know, Charlotte versus Ripley and Charlotte versus Cargill feels more like money matches WWE can run for soon. I'm reading the article right here. And the Queen has the crowd behind her more than any other time in her career. I disagree with that, but because I feel like, man, there was a point in time where she was on fire. Like, you know, there was a point in time where Charlotte, no, this is, you know, royalty. You know, it's like, this is Ric Flair's daughter. Like, you know, and she was, you know, it felt like at least in my eyes, I was a Charlotte Glazer. I was a Charlotte Glazer when she first got into the main roster until I want to say until she won the Royal Rumble at, this year. Not this year, excuse me. A couple years ago in Indianapolis. Because as much as I love Charlotte winning the Royal Rumble, I was geeked, I was happy. You know, it didn't have the same luster it had. You know, if she was still, you know, going on her absolutely, I wouldn't necessarily call it dominant run, because she would hold the title, drop it, hold the title, drop it, hold the title, drop it. You know, she wasn't necessarily, you know, a long-term champion. You know, she was a short-term. She was our short-term champion. Huge shout out to Justin. Fully expected Gunther to win. Sucks because it looks like Gunther botched the finish. Yeah, that's the ugly part too. That is the ugly part in itself. I still got faith in Gunther, you know, because even with Gunther, like, that's once every blue moon, you know. Like, you know, I feel like that's once every blue moon you're gonna see an insane like Gunther fuck up, you know, like that. Devin the Tribal Chief says Cody works better chasing the title, not keeping the title. That's a fact. He goes, that's easy to find, hard to beat because of my buddy Triple H. Yeah. Honestly, that sucks, man. It absolutely sucks. Triple H is just burning. Triple H and TKO, like, they are just burning through wrestlers. You know, LA Knight had his shine, it simmered down. Hell, there was a point in time Damian Priest, you know, like, even when Damian Priest dropped the title, we were still like, okay, what's next? We didn't expect them to just completely tank, you know, him not seeing any type of serious main card push, you know, ever since then. So honestly, like, you know, you're seeing these guys that at least you thought was gonna hold some weight, you know, you thought it was gonna have some sort of competition, you know, at least in the main event, in the main event card. We're not seeing that, you know. It's like we're not seeing that at all. You know, we're seeing the same people in rotation. And Devin the Tribal Chief, since you here, let's talk. I mean, let's switch over. Let's talk about your boy Roman. I love. I got zero problem with Roman being champion. You know, Roman beating CM Punk, understandable. You know, huge CM Punk fan, heavy Roman. Like, Roman is now my LeBron James at this point in time, and I feel like LeBron James haters can understand where I'm coming from, because as a LeBron James hater, because I'm a, you know, of course, a Chicago Bulls fan, when you hate LeBron, you hate LeBron the player. You don't hate LeBron the person. You know, when LeBron puts on the jersey, you can't stand the man. You know, he is the worst man in America. You know, the worst man in America comes second to LeBron James when he puts on a uniform and he's playing against your team. But damn it, when he takes off that jersey, you know, it's like when he takes off the jersey, when he gets off the court, I ain't got no problem with LeBron. Nicest man on the planet, probably. You know, it's just like, so, but like, I feel that way with Roman. When Roman is outside of the ring, when Roman is away from WWE, I got zero problem with Roman. He cool, dude, you know, super chill. But damn it, when Roman gets on my screen, I have nothing else to do in my life but hate. You know, I was like, after that, that's all I have left to do when I see Roman Reigns in the ring and LeBron James on the court. Like, just automatically, my body just instantly just wires itself to hate. It's just automatically. So LeBron, I'm sorry to make that long, but LeBron and Roman Reigns are pretty much on the same level. You know, in my eyes, they're both demons, hooligans, heathens. You know, like, but. Oh man, huge shout out to Devin the Tribal Chief, the summer of the Chief. And yeah, look, I got zero problem with Roman having his reign, going through his reign. I don't want it to be 3 years. I don't want this reign to be 3 years. But the problem I have with Roman is the fact that we're running back this bloodline storyline. You know, that's where it's getting a little annoying. You know, in more ways than one. I don't mind Roman having the title and just wiping through the entire roster, and until somebody like an Obafemi steps up and, you know, gets him out of here, but it sends him back to Hollywood. But, you know, Roman taking on Jacob, I thought was cool. I really wanted Jacob to win, even though that's still like heavy wishful thinking. I still feel like they did this a little too early. You know, Roman versus Jacob could have been done either earlier when Jacob still had a whole lot of hype, and then I feel like it got diminished well after the Royal Rumble. And then, of course, this could have happened well after, once you give Jacob Fatu, of course, a little bit of push up, Huge shout out to Devin the Tribal Chief. How's it the same bloodline story? Well, I feel like right now at this point in time, we're getting Tribal Combat, which already happened, twice? We're getting Jacob Fatu, of course, was trying to get the title from Roman Reigns and is pretty much pushing it against his family. He was just absolutely beating the brakes off of his family for a split second, but I feel like he's kind of getting put in that Jay situation. The only difference is, of course, Jimmy was injured. Jay, they didn't expect Jay to get a rocket, put on his back and get pushed to the moon after dealing with Roman. But I feel like we're in the same situation where Jacob is now Jay, in this situation where Jacob, of course, doesn't agree with Roman, doesn't agree with his situations, but he's stuck, with his family. He's stuck serving Roman. And then eventually at some point in time, he's going to break off. He's going to break through. And hopefully that leads to a title victory with Jacob Fatu. But why do we have to go back to seeing Roman Reigns take on his cousins again? I guess that's where I'm getting at. Why do we have to go back to the bloodline story, or at least going back to the bloodline-esque, situations? I feel like that's where the story kind of kills it for me. Roman has so much other talent, he could be fighting up against. Why do we have to go back to your family? It's like, why do we have to go back to your family? I think that's where the problem lies at with me. Huge shout out to Devin the Tribal Chief. To me, it's different because he's more of a face. He's treating the Usos as equals, and he's beating his opponents without help. But my question is, how long does that last? Because even though he's treating the Usos as equals, I don't think that lasts a month. It's like, I don't think that lasts a month. And honestly, that's the only thing I can. That's the only thing I can argue with your statement. Everything else I pretty much agree with. So everything else I pretty much agree with. Roman Reigns is more of a face. He isn't choking out his family and beating the dog crap out of them. In majority of and especially in a lot of his matches. Because I had this argument with Devin Crimes, of course, the co-host of the channel. I used to always say, man, Roman would get his ass beat for 90% of this match. And then, of course, is Superman punch, spear, choke out, dead. It's just like after that, it's pretty much over. And it brought me back to him versus, I think it was Rey Mysterio in the steel cage match where Rey Mysterio just beat him with like 20 chair shots, 3 619s. I think he shot him. It's like I think Rey Mysterio actually shot Roman Reigns, and then Roman Reigns just literally just got up and just mopped the floor with Rey Mysterio. We're not seeing anything like that. We're not seeing pretty much Roman just completely hoeing, the opponents, the opposition as he once was. So I will agree with you 100% in that. It's just the more of a fact that I don't see this lasting, because Roman Reigns he's still seen as that manipulator. He's still seen as that guy that I still see him as a manipulator. And this is all my perspective of Roman Reigns. I just don't see Roman Reigns staying a face this long. And if so, let me ask you guys, because me and Devin the Tribal Chief, I feel like we can agree with absolutely everything that has to do with wrestling until it gets to Roman. Like, and that's the same with Devin as well. Me and Devin Crimes, we'll be going head to head with everything. Like me and Devin Crimes, we can't agree to save our lives. So that's why we work so well. But me and Devin the Tribal Chief, I feel like we are on point with absolutely everything until it gets to Roman freaking Reigns. Not Seth freaking Rollins, Roman freaking Reigns. That's what draws the line with all of us here. But man, Devin, I really appreciate you hopping on here. And I love all your questions as well, guys, because you challenge me. You challenge motherfuckers. And I appreciate that, brother. Like, you be spot on with it. Justin too as well. Like Justin Justin has his pushback. Justin has pushback, and then Justin has facts on top of the pushback. He'd be like, Justin will just hit you with the here's why you're wrong. Here goes the Uno reverse and the draw four for you. It's just like type deal. Like Justin will put it on you. So I do like the perspective of you, but what do you guys think? Do you guys think that we're seeing kind of the same rinse and repeat storyline from Roman Reigns and the bloodline, or do you think this is just completely different? And do you have faith in this storyline? Because honestly, I don't. When Jacob Fatu lost in Tribal Combat, and then you seen Solo Sikoa, I wanted to flip my TV. I was like, damn it. Like, it's just like, we're doing this again. It's just like, why do we have to continue to go on and fight your cousins? Like, you have so much other competition in that locker room other than somebody that's related to you. It's just like that. That's all. That's how I saw it. more ways than one. Huge shout out to Devin the Tribal Chief. He just told Jacob he doesn't need help. Plus, the Bloodline storyline always elevates his four opponents. Next man up is LA Knight. I don't know, man. I don't know. LA Knight. See, that's the thing. I don't know if I agree with that though. I don't know if I agree if the Bloodline story always elevates his opponents. Cause like I felt like LA Knight, he was always hot, but I don't think he either gained or lost anything from beefing with Roman. I know Kevin Owens didn't really gain much. Kevin Owens got ran over. My man's Kevin Owens was going through it, man. They was treating him like dog crap. If I could give you one person, I can say Sammy and Jay. I can definitely give you Sammy and Jay. Those guys like just absolutely went over the moon, after they were dealing with Roman. Solo Sikoa, I felt like having the Bloodline 2.0. I felt like, and that wasn't even WWE putting the tag on him. That was also fanfare as well. I think Solo kind of got screwed in that situation. So I won't necessarily say that's a negative. I think Solo just got screwed in that instance. And then, of course, Jacob Fatu gets hired into WWE as well during that time that Solo Sikoa is beefing with Roman as well, or at least coming out of the backlash from Roman. So, I gotta, still. Huge shout out to Devin the Tribal Chief. Kevin Owens got the main event for Mania because of the. Don't give me that. And like, you're right. But no. Because are you talking about the tag match? Was that the tag match him and Sammy when they won the tag titles? Because still, like, no, I'm not. No. Don't give me no. A huge pop. I do remember huge pop. We went crazy for it. Tears were shed. No. I'm sorry. Not going for that. You cooking me. I'll give it to you. But no, I'm sorry. No. Because that's the thing. Like, I love me some CM Punk, but I love me some Kevin Owens. Like, Kevin Owens is absolutely my dog. Kevin Owens is my dog, man. And even then, when they won the tag match and when they won the tag titles, I didn't give a damn what they did after that at all. Like, I didn't care about what they did at all. And that's mainly because I'm a Sammy hater too. And that's the thing. I got many biases. I got many biases as well, as you could tell. So, it's like that's where I get a little mind blown at all this because I gotta hear other people's opinions too because I need to make sure if I'm tweaking. I need to make sure if I'm tweaking or not. And so, yes, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, of course, main evented Mania doesn't get any bigger than that. So of course you gotta give you that. But it's just I think the biggest person out of that is Jay. Jay winning the IC title over Braun Breaker, and then of course beating Gunther as well. It's just like absolutely unreal. Of course, him elevating himself in Mania too. So, but I just don't want to. We're not gonna say Roman is like the fucking Magic Johnson. It's like of WWE. Like, I'm not gonna go that far. It's like Roman is just like it's just like giving out assists, making people's lives better and whatnot. But you know what? I like this, man. I like it. Can I tag you in this? I want to make this a clip, and I want to hear other people's opinions about this because, like I said, I love arguing with Devin the Tribal Chief, going back and forth, of course, because, like I said, he comes through with the facts as well. He comes through with the real, especially, man. I'm telling you, like, I just don't want to, like I said, Roman. I don't want to think that Roman is like the Magic Johnson, of WWE here. Like, that's just no. I'm sorry, that's just not. I refuse to give him that. Like, he LeBron. It's like he LeBron. I'll give it to him. Roman Reigns is LeBron. He is the LeBron of WWE. Like, I can't argue that. Like, at this point in time, in this very moment, Roman Reigns is LeBron. Like, CM Punk. Can I be disrespectful? Can I be disrespectful? If I could be disrespectful, when CM Punk came back, if I had to give him a comparison, and we're talking like at first, like, AEW, my man's is looking like, Russell Westbrook. Like I'm talking like after OKC. I'm talking like now. It's like it's like now. But if I had to put CM Punk like a category, like a current NBA like player, who's like a vet? Like I wouldn't necessarily call him like DeMar DeRozan. It's like I wouldn't necessarily go that far. That's a tough one. I'll have to come back to that one. I'll have to come back to that one for sure. Maybe Kyrie. Maybe Kyrie. Maybe Kyrie. Maybe Kyrie. He was trying to Devin the Tribal Chief. Yup, that's cool. Definitely appreciate you. He goes, but real talk, if I was Roman, I want to put my family on too. Everybody gets to eat. Yeah, exactly. But that's the thing, like, on everything I love, if Zilla comes through and we get a feud and a beef with all this, Roman, I'm sorry. We gotta have something, some type of restriction, a Samoan restriction for WWE. Like at this point in time, if Roman brings in another cousin, we gotta have a Samoan restriction. There can only be a certain amount of Samoans working in WWE at a certain period of time. Racist, little bit, I don't care. A certain amount of Samoans can work at WWE for a certain amount. That's how we got to do it. Oh, but then again, they did release a couple. You know what I mean? Yeah, they did release. Okay, so yeah, it's about that time. Like, I forgot there was a Samoan that got released. So maybe one is on its way. One is on its way pretty soon. But and honestly, you do got to give it to Roman in that instance. At first, even in the beginning, I was like, man, this is beautiful. Like, I didn't even know Jake could go down like that. Pause. I didn't know Jake could get down like that, for real. And then, of course, you see the absolute elevation that Jay went on. And I think it's absolutely unreal that the man that was tied up eating dog food, and that was when I loved Roman was at like an all-time like peak to me when he was the big dog. Like the big dog was my dog, until John Cena came in the frame. When John Cena showed up, I was like, all right, Roman, let's step aside for a second. It's called a promo. It's called a promo. If you want to be the big dog, John Cena, when John Cena came through, Roman was non-existent. But Roman was my dog, man. As soon as he got together with Paul Heyman, which I was hyped at first, but once he got with Paul Heyman and once, I want to say maybe 6-7 months into his reign, I was like, all right, we're done here. I was like, all right, I think I'm got some Roman Reigns fatigue since we're still on the fatigue title here. But just looking at it right here, just moving forward to the winners and losers of Clash of Italy. They had Sol Ruca as a winner, which I do agree with, of course, winning the IC title. Then they had Jacob Fatu as a loser. That's what I really wanted to get into, because like Jacob Fatu didn't deserve to lose this match. I really just didn't want Jacob Fatu to lose. I didn't want him to lose, and then now what? Now you stuck. Now you stuck with the family, and there was plans for this man. They had plans for Jacob Fatu. Jacob Fatu had plans, and now it's just I don't know. I feel like it's just all over the place now. I feel like they could have done something a whole lot more with Jacob Fatu, especially if he were to beat Roman in tribal combat, and granted, I'm still asking for a lot. You're still asking a lot from Jacob Fatu in that instance, which is why I still feel like this matchup was done a little too early. I feel like they could have had Jacob Fatu and Roman later down the line. But hell, we're gonna get Oba versus Roman well down the line. So, hey, we're getting it regardless. So we gotta be happy with what we get at this point in time. But I do see Jacob Fatu just being a loser here in the situation here. Of course, the turnaround for this could be amazing. Jacob Fatu turning his back on. You shout out to Devin the Tribal Chief. Plans? You mean fantasy booking plans? Yeah, fantasy booking plans. Yes. Once this letter gets sent out to TKO, this letter and this email I'm about to send out to them, once it gets out to TKO, yeah, it's cool. It's cool. Roman gonna be in catering by the time I'm done with this dude. Like at this point in time, once I send them my plan, once I see them what I got going on, man, I'm telling you, they're gonna be like, hey, I'm sorry, but we just fired Paul Levesque. What? How fast can you get? How fast can you get to Connecticut? You know, I was like, how fast can you get over here, brother, man? Well, let's say the word and we got you. But shoot, man, if I can't get Mark Henry, you know, what I'm like, if I can't get Mark Henry, I ain't getting a call from TKO. So let's just get that stuff straight out there, you know. But look, man, huge shout out to Devin the Tribal Chief. Jacob Fatu is gonna shine in this. I'm gonna take your word for it. I'm gonna take your word for it. But I hope this kind of gives us like a Daniel Bryan Wyatt family type feel. If anybody remembers that, when Daniel Bryan was stuck with the Wyatt family, he was in that nasty ass little like trench outfit. Then of course I believe there was in a steel. It happened in a steel cage match where Bray Wyatt was gonna hit him with Sister Abigail, and you know Daniel Bryan was like, "Man, screw all that, bro. Screw all that, man. I'm getting sick of all this, you know, brainwashing Sister Abigail. We're here, BS, man. Like, you know, and that got a huge pop. That was just a whole lot of fun to watch in itself. Hopefully, we get something like that from Jacob Fatu. Not necessarily, you know, in that stretch, but you know, we get that type of reaction, you know, and we get that type of feel, you know, with that whole thing as well. And of course, these are two of the biggest stars in WWE. So I'm gonna put some faith in it. I'm gonna put some faith in Jacob Fatu shining in this afterwards. You know, once he finally gets free. Throughout this whole time, I'm gonna be pouting. I'm gonna give my honest opinions. Like when it's fire, it's fire. You know, when it's hot, it's hot. You know, and I'll be the first one to admit that. But I am gonna be pouting a little bit watching Jacob Fatu, you know, become Roman's bitch, as we see a lot of his cousins be, you know, as it is. But I'm gonna have some faith that Jacob Fatu is going to shine, look great, and of course come out of this looking like an absolute star. You know, and maybe that's what he needs. You know, he needs somebody like Roman Reigns who has that experience, has that many years of being on top. He needs somebody like Roman underneath his wing, you know, to learn from him. You know, because Jacob Fatu, you know, it's cool being a lone star, but you know, it's one thing having Paul Heyman, you know, under your wing. Roman Reigns going back and forth with Jacob Fatu. And I'm talking about outside of the ring. You know, even though it's not like he's not doing it now, but, you know, now him being underneath Roman, you know, them traveling together, which is more than likely the case, you know, if they're going to be grouped up. I think this is going to be great all around. Great all around for Jacob Fatu. I'm still going to be pouting throughout it all. Still going to be going to be kicking and screaming. You know, but at the end of the day, hey, it is what it is. It's kind of like when you're a kid going grocery shopping. You don't want to go grocery shopping. You're kicking and screaming. You want to stay home. Like, it's boring. But as soon as you get there, Mom, can I get this candy? You know, it's like, can I get these Scooby snacks? It's like, what else can I look for? It's like deal. So, man, let's look at the King of the Ring. Let's look at the King of the Ring, the brackets as well. Which one does this start off with? This starts off with the men's. Let's look at the men's King of the Ring bracket while we're here. So of course, Penta. First, I can just give y'all my predictions here. You know, I was like, well, while we're here, while we're talking about it, I can just give y'all my predictions here. Let me zoom in a little bit. But we got Penta taking on Obafemi. I don't even see any way, shape, or form Penta's winning this match. Penta got dealt a bad hand. I think I'm gonna go with Obafemi here. They owe Carmelo Hayes one, but right now I think Solo Sikoa is still gonna get grouped in this bloodline storyline. I don't think he could take a loss right now. I think Solo Sikoa is gonna get the win here. And I think Obafemi is gonna beat Solo Sikoa. Like, let's be honest here. I think Obafemi is getting the win over Solo Sikoa. Dominic Mysterio taking on Bron Breakker. I can see Bron Breakker getting the win. I don't think Dominic Mysterio is going to get like a fluky. I can see him getting a fluky win, especially if Bron Breakker is still having, you know, Seth Rollins on his heels. I'm going to give that win to Bron Breakker. Then of course Trick Williams versus Damian Priest. Oh man, I gotta give it to Trick Willie. You know, I gotta give it to Trick Willie. You know, I think that they're gonna put, of course, the Rockin' on Trick Williams as well. And Damian Priest, this hasn't been anything too noteworthy. And by noteworthy, it's just something that we can ride home, something we can put underneath his belt and, you know, put him in the running for any type of title contention. So I'm thinking I'm gonna give that one to Trick Williams. And if it's gonna come down to Trick Williams and Bron Breakker, Yeah, give me Braun Breaker there. Give me Braun Breaker there. But I don't see Obafemi taking on Braun Breaker in like a King of the Ring semifinals. You know, it's like that's why I think it's gonna be tough. But man. Let's go on the other side real fast. So while I'm making up my mind here, Seth Rollins taking on Javon Evans. I find it hard for Javon Evans to beat Seth Rollins unless, like I said, something fluky happens. I think I'm going to give that one to Seth Rollins. Tonga versus Ricky Saints. Give Ricky Saints that win there. Man, I don't see Ricky Saints beating Seth Rollins either, so I'm gonna give that one to Seth Rollins as well. Jay Uso taking on LA Knight. That is a perfect matchup to have in the beginning of qualifier match. I think I'm gonna have to give that one to Jay though. As much as I would love to see LA Knight get that win, I think Jay has LA Knight's number, and Jay has been trying to show that he's had a whole lot to prove, even with LA Knight. So I'm gonna give Jay Uso that win. Royce Keys taking on Finn Balor. I'm gonna give that win to Royce Keys. Royce Keys needs a couple wins under his belt. But on the flip side, I do see Jay Uso somehow getting the win over Royce Keys there. Royce, and then of course you got Jay Uso taking on Seth Rollins in that case. I would love, in my eyes, if this was up to me, I would give it to Seth Rollins. I would give it 100% to Seth Rollins. You know, I'll give the win to Seth Rollins, but I do think Jay Uso is going to come away with the win, meaning that Jay Uso and Obafemi will be the King of the Ring finals competitors, and I see Obafemi getting the win there. Like, I just see Obafemi taking the dub there. Going on to the women's, Liv Morgan taking on Becky Lynch. That's a tough one. I don't necessarily see, because Becky Lynch just lost her title, but Liv Morgan, of course, being the world champion, why would she lose? Like, why would she lose? I'm giving it to Liv Morgan, and I see Becky Lynch losing off something fluky, like, you know, interference and whatnot. Alexa Bliss taking on Chelsea Green. I want to give that one to Alexa Bliss. I'm gonna give that one to Alexa Bliss. I'm not even gonna fight it. Alexa Bliss taking on Liv Morgan. I'm gonna give that one to Liv Morgan there. You got Sol Ruka, the new IC champion, taking on Lyra Valkyria. Sol Ruka, new champion. I don't necessarily see her losing so quickly, especially in this Queen of the Ring tournament qualifier. In the round one of the Queen of the Ring tournament, I'm gonna give that one to Sol Ruka. Charlotte Flair taking on Jade Cargill is an absolute Titans clash, and I see Jade Cargill getting that win. As much as I love Charlotte, as technically sound as I see Charlotte being in the ring, Jade Cargill, you know, she's the next woman up. And I think, you know, Charlotte Flair is her time to, you know, give Jade Cargill that extra nod, that extra push that she needs. I give Jade Cargill the win there, and Jade Cargill's just beating Sol Ruka. And I see Jade Cargill beating Liv Morgan as well. So Jade Cargill will be in my finals in the Queen of the Ring tournament. You got Roxanne Perez taking on Io Sky. Roxanne Perez, even though I do see WWE having a whole lot of love and faith in her future as well, Io Sky just, you know, the talent is unreal. I don't see her just losing to Roxanne Perez unless something fluky happens. That's gonna be one that I'm gonna put, you know, in my back pocket. You know, something that could happen. You know, something that could mess up my bracket in itself. So I will give the win there to Io Sky, but I wouldn't be shocked if Roxanne Perez got the win over something crazy. Julia taking on Lash Legend. Oh man, I'm gonna give this one to Lash Legend. I think I'm gonna give this one to Lash Legend. I think I'm gonna give this one to Lash Legend, but I'm gonna put that one in my back pocket. I don't know. I'm gonna think about that one. Bayley taking on Raquel Rodriguez. I think this is gonna be a tough one for Bayley to get the win over here. Even though Raquel Rodriguez, I don't necessarily see her going too far in this Queen of the Ring tournament. If it was up to me, I'd let Bayley get the win, but I do think Raquel Rodriguez is going to be on a run here pretty shortly. I'm going to give Raquel Rodriguez the win, and I'm going to give Jacy Jayne the win over Kiana James, of course, the new up-and-comer, the new NXT call-up. So I'm going to give Jacy Jayne that win, and then I see her losing to Raquel Rodriguez. And I see Io Sky beating Lash Legend as well. Or you get Io Sky versus Julia. Okay, I say that Julia's beating Lash Legend because I see Io Sky taking on Julia in the quarter semis. So Give me Julia versus Io, and then Io getting the win. Io's going to take on Raquel Rodriguez, get the win from Io, get the win against Raquel. So we'll have Jade Cargill taking on Io Sky, and I see Jade Cargill getting the win and being queen in the ring. So those are my predictions. If you were able to keep up on that. And look, man, we've been going at it for a good minute. I think I'm going to call it right here. We've had some great. No, I lied. I want to talk about Obafemi. Before I get up out of here. Man, I didn't see the need for WWE to have a rubber match for the Obafemi Brock Lesnar. I thought Brock Lesnar retired for sure. I was on Circle of Debate when Brock Lesnar came back, and I thought Justin had just the greatest reaction. But even then, like I just couldn't believe that after seeing Brock Lesnar just break down in tears, show way more emotion than we've seen him show ever in WWE. And yet he comes back, just absolutely destroys Obafemi, and then we get to Clash of Italy, and he gets the win over Obafemi. And now, come Monday Night Raw, Obafemi announced that he wants to see Brock Lesnar again. Of course, it's tied 1-1. You got to have the rubber match. And hopefully around that time, Brock Lesnar retires for good. You know, at least in my eyes, I wanted to see this be the end-all, be-all for Brock Lesnar. If Brock Lesnar doesn't want to retire, then that's fine. I just hate that we just got absolutely salmon suited, you know, out of this whole thing. And for those, of course, that don't get the reference, look at Mark Henry's pink suit. You'll get the salmon suit reference. But man, like we got our legs absolutely pulled. And granted, the match was all right. You know, the match was fine for what it was. I'm talking about the Clash of Italy match with Brock Lesnar and Obafemi. But oh my goodness, man. Sure, let's have Obafemi get 2 wins over Brock Lesnar. And if Obafemi doesn't get the 3rd win over Brock Lesnar, doesn't get the win in their 3rd match, we have we got bigger problems on our hands. we just have absolutely bigger problems on our hands if Obafemi cannot get the job done against Brock Lesnar again. So I think that's going to be one of the biggest problems we have here. I wish this would have ended a whole lot sooner rather than later. You know, I really wish that this would have just ended at Mania when Obafemi got the win. We all got the shock. We all were some of us were in tears watching Brock Lesnar walk away from wrestling as we thought he was. And then of course he just comes through, destroys Brock Lesnar. He needs a win over Obafemi apparently. And so it's just stupid. Just stupid. So, huge shout out to Obafemi. Please get the win over Brock Lesnar. We need it. We absolutely need it. And a huge shout out to Chad Gable as well. Chad Gable got unmasked as the original El Grande Americano, Ludwig Kaiser. All it took for him to get arrested, for him to be just absolutely loved around Mexico. You know, it's just like as crazy as that is. But Chad Gable got unmasked, and hopefully this leads to a push. They said he was El Grande Americano for like a year or some change. I didn't even know it was that long. It felt like it was like maybe 8-7 months, maybe. It was a year and some change that this man was underneath the mask, just bull jiving. You know, they're not doing much of nothing. And I just think that's so dirty, man. I just think that's so grimy. You could have did a whole lot more with Chad Gable's talents. And I hope they do. At this point in time, I hope they do. Because right now, WWE still has, you know, have great talent. You know, let me not just disrespect the talent like that. They have great talent. You know, it's like the talent is there. Roman Reigns, of course, being the leader, being the head honcho, him and Cody Rhodes. And of course, hopefully we can have Gunther and Jacob Fatu disrupt that. I'll be right back. Let me get this going. dude, man. If it's one thing I do, it's I show up, man. It's like I show up with the quickness. I run in, run out. But yeah, I hope they do something with Chad Gable, man. Chad Gable absolutely deserves it. There's no way you can be an El Grande Americano for a year, be over not only in America, but be over in Mexico as well. Not as over as Logan Kaiser, but as over as he was. You got to do something with that. You got to do something with that, or at least let him have a match with Cody. Just let him have a singular match with Cody. And let him get over. Let him show that he's a dog. Let him show what he could do. That he's a dog in the ring, as we know that he is to be. And then let's get the run going. Let's get the run going. We're seeing a whole lot of people get in the positions that they are, get into positions that they are off of injury. Even CM Punk admitted, hey, well, he didn't really have any plans, to be in the main event of Mania, taking on Roman Reigns for the title, but Seth Rollins gets hurt. He has to step up to the plate and he wins the title. And now Roman Reigns wins the Royal Rumble, a match made in heaven. Now, we got this matchup going on, Kofi Mania. If it wasn't for Mustafa Ali getting injured and then Kofi Kingston being in that Gauntlet Eliminator match and him just having an absolute crazy performance, in itself. So, man, things happen, man. And we just got to give guys that chance. And so I hope they do that to Chad Gable. I hope Chad Gable gets his chance. And so, look, that's it for me. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Huge shout out to Justin. Huge shout out to Devin, the Tribal Chief, of course, for the amazing commentary, for the amazing back and forth. I'll be back tomorrow. I will actually be back tomorrow on Wednesday for AEW Dynamite. Have some fun with that. Of course, talk my spiel and just go nuts. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm actually going to post a clip, hopefully either tomorrow or later on tomorrow or early tomorrow morning. So thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next time.